Pallanghuzi, or Pallankuli, is a traditional mancala game played in South India, Sri Lanka and Malaysia. Variants are called as guli, main Vamana, guntalu and Kuzhipara. The game is played by two players, with a wooden board that has 14 pits in all. There have been several variations in the layout of the pits, one among them being 7 pits on each player's side. The pits contain cowrie shells, seeds or small pebbles used as counters. There are several variations of the game depending on the number of shells each player starts with. Gameplay overview: Pallanghuzi is played on a rectangular board with 2 rows and 7 columns. There are a total of 14 cups and 146 counters. For the counters in the game, seeds, shells, small stones are all common for use. As the game proceeds, each player distributes the shells over all the pits. The players may capture the shells, as permitted by the rules of the game. The rules of capture depend on the variant of the game played. The game ends when one of the players captures all the shells, and is declared as a winner. 12 counters are placed in each cup except the middle of each row, into which only 2 counters are placed. The starting player lifts the counters from any of his holes and, going counterclockwise, distributes 1 counter in each hole. If he reaches the end of his cups, he goes on his opponent's side of the board. When the player drops his last counter, he takes the counter from the next cup and continues placing them in this way. If the last counter falls into a cup with an empty cup beyond, the counters in the cup beyond the empty hole are captured by the player and put into his store. That player then continues play from the next cup containing counters. If the last counter falls into a cup with 2 empty holes beyond, he captures no counters and his turn is over. The next player continues play in the same way, taking counters from any of his cups and going around placing counters in a counterclockwise direction. If, after having a counter dropped into it, a cup contains 6 counters, those become the property of the player who dropped the counter. The round is over when no counters remain. Once the first round is over, players take the counters from their stores and fill as many of their holes as possible with counters. The winner will have a surplus of counters which are kept in his store. The loser of the first round will be unable to fill all of his holes. These unfilled holes are marked as rubbish holes. In the next round, play continues as before, but without the rubbish holes being included and the player who went first in the previous round going second. The game is over when a player is unable to fill any cups with 6 counters at the end of a round. Objects: tamarind seeds and cowrie shells in Tamil language are used in this game to fill the holes of the guli board. Popularity: this game is popular among the kids and old people. This game is encouraged for the kids to learn to count, to improve eye-hand coordination and concentration while playing, and for the older people of the house to spend time in the company of the young members of the family. Pallanghuzi is also played in Sri Lanka, Trinidad, Guyana and Singapore, with a sizable Tamil Indian population living in those countries. Ancient Tamils, during their Chola expedition and trading with Indonesian islands, took this game there.